like we were kids, like we were so vulnerable and so naive. My reaction was that there's no way people are going to be jumping to their death. That feeling of like being so vulnerable was so overwhelming.
With guns, you can kill terrorists. With education, you can kill terrorism. This is a quote that embodies the goal of our product: to demolish terrorism using the help of education. Terrorism is one of the most pressing issues in today's modern society. It's taken thousands and thousands of lives from us and continues to do so. None of us here have to worry and be in constant fear of an airstrike like the children of Syria. Nor do we have to worry about being forced and pressured to be turned into war dogs by radicalized leaders. And we at MYP5C have understood that we have this luxury and decided to act upon this. This is why we have chosen the topic of anti-terrorism. Before I start the presentation, I would like to talk about our MYP connections. Our key concept is change, with the related concepts up on board. Our global context is scientific and technical innovation, with our statement inquiry. Education and literacy drives innovation in science and technology, which leads to revolutionary changes in the ways we live and work. As mentioned before, our theme is education. I'd like to talk about our research question. Our research question is: how can education and literacy act as a medium to promote open-mindedness and acceptance in the youth of today's society, which can minimize terrorism?
In our society, we have an abundance of ideas. When one person is thinking of an idea, 7 other people in the world are thinking of the exact same idea. So, at the end of the day, it's all about implementing and acting on that idea, and that is where the ATL skills come into place. As IB learners, these serve as our guidelines to critically approach and evaluate any situation or problem. First, we have research skills, which is very important because we need to know the data about what we're investigating to actually understand the magnitude of the problem. Then you have creative thinking skills. Why is our product out of the box? This can only be answered when you creatively apply yourself. Then you have critical thinking skills. Why have the existing solutions failed, and why will our solution be different? This can only be answered when you critically apply yourselves. In order to form an efficient solution to any problem, you need to make the necessary analysis, claims, and inferences, which can only be done when you critically apply yourselves. But all of this goes in vain if you do not equally distribute and manage your time and your work ethic, and that is why self-management skills plays a very important role in order for you to set realistic goals to achieve your path to success. All of us have considerable intellect over here, but it's all about propagating those ideas to each and every single individual of society who's actually willing to hear us out, and that is where communication skills comes into place. For the past 8 weeks, we've tried to integrate and inculcate each and every one of these skills, and hopefully we've been successful to a certain extent.
So now I would like to talk about our primary question. What is terrorism? Terrorism is an act of violence waged against masses. It is fueled by political, personal, social and religious conflicts. It is usually caused when a person strongly believes in something that is against traditional beliefs.
Before starting any sort of research work, a blueprint is necessary. So we formed 9 questions, 3 factual, 3 conceptual, and 3 debatable, that aided us throughout the process of research. The first stage of our interdisciplinary unit was disciplinary grounding. This is where we connected our knowledge of the problem terrorism to all 5 disciplines that the MIT offers. So the first subject that we're starting off with is math. Well, why math? Because math is something that can model almost every single situation on planet Earth. So keeping this in mind, and considering the fact that we are learning about transformations in our math class, we were able to model 2 functions. One that models the fatalities caused due to terrorism, and one that models the injuries caused due to terrorism. If you look at the graphs, you'll notice that it's an exponential function, which means that as years continue to pass, more and more people are being affected by terrorism. This was alarming and sort of implied and gave us an understanding of the problem and why it's such a vital and problem that requires immediate attention.
We realized that if we wanted to curb terrorism, we have to change people's mindsets about it. This is why we're targeting children of all ages, since they're going to be the ones facing the most dire consequences of terrorism today. After a lot of research, we found out that casual exposure to violence in their everyday lives, as well as the opinions they were exposed to at home, led to a negative effect on their views on issues like terrorism. Because of this, they were lacking in certain morals, like open-mindedness and acceptance. And so for our final product, we took heavy inspiration from traditional moral stories and fables. We ended up creating 3 short stories for children under the age of 12, and another story for teenagers and above. What makes our stories different from moral stories and fables is that while they do teach open-mindedness and acceptance, they also currently depict the situation of terrorism in a non-graphic, child-friendly way. Children need these types of resources since they are aware that terrorism exists, but the only exposure they're given is very biased and heavily censored. A clear resource like the one we made, Our Stories, will have a great effect on their understanding of terrorism.
As a part of our integrated humanities research, we researched on various terrorist activities around the world, like the 9/11 attacks in the US, the Boko Haram in Africa, and the Syrian civil war in the Middle East, to find out the root causes of terrorism. As a part of our research, we came across a few causes that can give scope to terrorism, that are discrimination, vengeance, and alienation. We further connected terrorism to our integrated humanities unit, that is Industrial Revolution, where we researched about how the development of Industrial Revolution supported the terrorists to create advanced weapons such as the musket that is further changed to a repeating rifle, and the nuclear weapons during the World War I and II that destroyed Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Modern terrorism can date back all the way to the Cold War. The space and arms race between US and Russia created various weapons and technologies that have given terrorists an opportunity to execute their plans. The funding of the Mujahideen sparked the beginning of organizations such as Al-Qaeda, Taliban, and created the future leaders of ISIS. Economic losses such as loss in capital or infrastructure is impactful for any nation. Since the beginning of the 21st century, the world has faced losses of around $725 billion only because of terrorism. Developing nations are especially affected because of terrorist activities. An example of this is Nigeria. Because of the organization Boko Haram, Nigeria's economy has gone for a toss. And it's our duty. No, it's our responsibility to spread awareness.
Everything we see and do in this work can be covered by science, and this holds true to even the problems of society. It's a famous saying, for every solution, 10 more problems are created. And this perfectly depicts how controversial the impacts of science truly are. In our day-to-day classes, we learn about astrophysics, and this gives us an outlook on how the implications of science can be both in a positive and a negative way. On the positive side of things, scientists are using satellites to orbit the Earth and find out the exact location of where terrorist activities are going on and minimize them as soon as possible. But on the negative side of things, terrorists are using this technology to their advantage by creating high-scale attacks with more casualties caused and more terrorist activities going on in general. How can we reduce terrorism using scientific and technical innovation? So here are some of the implications that has been going on for a period of time. But one thing I want to emphasize on is our explosive detective systems. So explosive detective systems are nothing but dogs that go around sniffing for explosive materials or that are either being transported or placed within the radius of the airport. And this has drastically changed, this has drastically reduced terrorism. So religious extremism. So religious extremism represents faith-based intentions to provoke infliction of harm or fear on other citizens. Extremists thrive in situations where multiculturalism and equality are higher because it gives them an opportunity to show their dominance. To be a part of an extremist group,
Our target audience is children, and 3 of our stories are for children of the age 12 and below. This is why we felt that it is integral to include illustrations in our stories. Using our previous knowledge gained in visual art, we were able to choose an art form that not only depicts all the main scenes of our stories, but will be easy for the children to understand. Additionally, we used our prior knowledge in design to create a website on Weebly. Now, we created a website because not only is it easy to navigate, but it is easy for the readers to communicate with us regarding their doubts and concerns. Additionally, we translated our content into more than one language so that not only Indian citizens, but everyone in the world will be able to understand our product. So once we were done with our disciplinary grounding, we put all our information together, synthesized it, and created our final product. So our solution. The green people and the red people. This story is about 2 groups of people of different colors who don't really have that much don't really have that many differences, but they just are against each other because of their different colors and their different cultures. The moral of the story is to be open-minded, as in the end they realize that they're really similar except for their color. The Lonely Buffalo. This story is about a buffalo who goes to a new savanna to find new friends and a new home. When he reaches there, all the other groups have their own strengths and they do not accept him. They're very proud. In the end, the buffalo goes to the monkeys, who are very friendly and approachable. These monkeys realize that everyone is special in their own way, and when all the animals play together, they have a lot more fun. The Curious Little Boy. This story gives us a more direct approach to terrorism. It's about a little boy who's asking his mother about the impacts of terrorism, and it displays what happens of families who are victims to terrorism. In the story, they cannot go out for food and to buy more stuff, and the boy's father, sadly, has passed away. Our last story is known as What Defines You. It's a much more advanced story, more thoughtful, with more vocabulary for higher levels. It's aimed at teenagers, adults, and children above 13. This story is about an immortal woman who's been watching humanity her whole life, and she meets the daughter of a terrorist. The moral of our story is it's not your environment or your parents who define you. It's who you are and who you want to be. And terrorism is not going to disappear until we make a valid effort towards it. Our story is not in 1, not in 2, but in 7 different languages. 3 of these languages are Indian languages, Telugu, Hindi, and Tamil, and 3 of them are international languages, Spanish, French, and Mandarin, and of course, English. So we would like to show you our website before continuing on.
So this is our product. This is what we came up with as a class. This is the homepage for the English speaking audience.
And as we said before, we wanted it to be more easily accessible and easier to navigate, so we have clearly written at the top English, our Indian languages, and international languages.
As mentioned before, we incorporated 7 languages so that people all over the world can understand and access our website.
And our stories also have quick links at the bottom, as well as they can use it to the home menu. Once you go to our stories, you can see that we probably took inspiration from the quote, that life is too short to read a long story.
So these are the stories for the children below the age of 13. As you can see, the illustrations were made by our class by hand. This is the second story, and the third.
and we have it in 7 different languages.